Yo, what is going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lampzy back again with another video, and today, since we're pretty much celebrating 10 years of FIFA Ultimate Team, I thought I would share with you guys some of my favourite players that I've played with across all the years of playing FIFA Ultimate Team. Now, obviously this isn't a rich man's road to glory or best players video, so we aren't going to really see some of the crazy team of the seasons that have been shared across the 10 years of Ultimate Team, but you will see some of the OG legends of the game, which you will probably sit back and remember and reminisce and be like, wow, FIFA 14 or FIFA 15 was really good. But guys, obviously I haven't added everyone on this list, because if I did, this video would go on for hours. But let me know in the comment section below who I've missed out and who your favorite players have been. But nonetheless, guys, let's just jump straight into it. Alright guys, so we are going to start off with the FIFA 13 84 rated Petr Cech. Now guys, if you have been following me for a while and you remember some of my old videos, you would remember that me and my mate by the name of Gaz gave this man the nickname Chekamoli, and because he was holy moly amazing. Now obviously the stats really didn't matter too much in the earlier stages of FIFA, and Petr Cech was just an absolute god. Like, he would save everything. His helmet was just like the main point of everyone using him in FIFA 13. He was just an outstanding player in this game, and just like, he was just so OP. Like, he was like Jack Butland in FIFA 17. But moving over to FIFA 17, I have Pantilimon. Now, a lot of people would think, well, why has he got Pantilimon there? Now, for some reason, I was just playing like real random sort of FIFA in FIFA 17. I wasn't as, dedicated to FIFA 17 as I was some of the earlier FIFA and some of the FIFA that I am now. But Pantilimon, I chucked in goals because I believe he's like 6'6" or 6'7", and he was just so tall, and I thought, yeah, why not? Because, like, people like Thibaut Courtois and Petr Cech and everything was so expensive, and I thought Pantilimon is 1,000 coins at the time, and he was actually doing me bits. He was just one of those crazy keepers that would be able to save everything because his wingspan was so big. So Pantilimon was obviously the other goalkeeper that I really loved and enjoyed using in FIFA 17, and obviously the other player that we have on this page is obviously one of the best defenders in the game right now in FIFA 19 is Virgil van Dijk's 92 rated card, which is obviously his player of the month. Now, a lot of people would probably have his team of the season in there and everything, but like I said at the start, I'm not really the richest FIFA player, and I was able to pick up that Virgil van Dijk, and he has been my favorite player through FIFA 19 so far. But nonetheless, guys, let's just move straight on to the next three. Now guys, moving over to some of my favourite centre-backs through Ultimate Team, and we'll start off with Vincent Kompany's FIFA 16 card. Now, this was one player that you couldn't leave out of a Premier League team due to the fact because he was so strong and bulky, could defend like a king, and he'd have some of the pace to go with it. And I think it'd be fair to say, since there was so much use of using Kompany over the earlier days of FIFA, it really got him that amazing flashback card in this year's FIFA. Now, moving over to Toby Alderweireld. Now, I did chuck him in at the start of last year's FIFA just due to the fact because I love him in real life and I rate him as one of the best centre-backs in the world. And I looked at his FIFA stats and they actually weren't too bad, and it turned out that 600-700 games later he was still in the team due to the fact that I just couldn't replace him. He was just one of those OP defenders that just worked really well for me and how I played last year's FIFA. Now, moving over to the last centre-back on this page, and it's David Luiz's flashback card. And what can I say that hasn't been already said before? Now, he's an absolute force in the backline, and I think it'd be safe to say that 80% of this year's FIFA players have him in their teams. Now, whether you play him at centre-back or at CDM, no matter where you play him, he's an absolute force, and he was definitely worth a 300k SBC price. And even though he's untradeable, he's still worth every penny. Now guys, staying with the theme of our defenders, and the first one here on this page is the FIFA 15 Nathaniel Clyne team of the season at Southampton. Wow, God, did Southampton have an amazing team back then. Now, this player was an absolute gem. He was so quick, he was so strong, he could defend well, could dribble well, and his passing was pretty decent, and obviously the stats really do show up, but he was just an absolute brute force. I think a lot of people actually had Nathaniel Clyne in their teams when it came to that time of year. It was just one of those players that you could link really well in because English players were really good in that FIFA as well. And to be fair, guys, he was so worth the price. And I really wish Nathaniel Clyne was still this good in real life. So hopefully he comes to, better football in the next couple of years. Now, moving over to, well, let's just stay FIFA 15. David Luiz. I know David Luiz has had quite a number of good cards, but this is another crazy good card that I've had my hands on, and this was actually the first Team of the Year card that I actually ever had, and my brother and I both bought him, and God, was he a menace. Now, I believe he shouldn't have been in there. I think it was due to the fact that both Thiago Silva and David Luiz both got in there, which was really strange. But to be fair, PSG had a really good year that year, and that's when PSG started to make their name on Europe. But to be fair, guys, David Luiz, look at those stats. It's just an overall tank card to have, and he was just so OP. It's basically as OP as what he was like in the FIFA 19 flashback card. Now, moving over to the last one here, is we've got FIFA 17 Azpilicueta Team of the Season centre back card. Now, overall, those stats are absolutely insane. I still wish we could still have an Azpi like this in this year's FIFA. There could be a strong possibility due to the fact that Foot birthday is in a couple of days, and that card was so sick. It was actually the only Team of the Season I actually had from the Premier League in FIFA 17, and I think it cost me around 400 to 500k, and it was definitely worth it because you've got to build your backline, and you know, it's just one of those things that you must do. But those are 3 more defenders to my list. Now guys, moving over to some of the best midfielders that I've used, and to be fair, they're all in FIFA 15 due to the fact that I still believe that FIFA 15 was still one of the greatest Ultimate Teams out there, due to the fact that they had a little bit of EA advantage, and if you don't know what that is, basically means that if you had a lower tier team that you sort of got a slight advantage in game, and I just loved it because you could use some players that you would never think of using, and you could use silvers and all that. And to be fair, the first one there is Victor Wanyama's inform. Now, obviously, it's not a great looking card, it's only 77 rated, but that 89 physical made him an absolute brute force, and he was just amazing to use. I loved it so much. I used it heaps. My brother actually gave me the card, I believe, and I used it for so many games, and it was just so enjoyable to use a strong defensive midfielder like that. And moving forward to a silver card of Ravel Morrison, who is just a wasted talent, and I still wish that he was still in the Premier League playing for someone like West Ham or Man United now. And he was just one of those great players. He had amazing skill moves, and that's what made silvers in FIFA 15 amazing to use. You could basically build a whole silver team, and you could beat, you know, real good teams that would have like Messi and Ronaldo and all those sort of players. And he was just an absolute beast. You could flick it up, you'd be able to spiral it into the back of the net. Just an absolute gem to have. Like, these silver cards that were 74 rated, they felt like they were in the 90s. I don't know what it was. It was just crazy. I wish that the game was still like it. And to be fair, guys, it leads to my last one here on this page, and it's Dimitri Payet's Team of the Season card for Marseille. And it was absolutely amazing. And it was basic because I didn't really have too many Team of the Season cards and Team of the Year cards in all of FIFAs, because obviously I didn't have that much coins, and considering that I was able to get Dimitri Payet's card, this is the card that made me fall in love with Payet and made me look him up online and all that sort of stuff. And this was, I believe, the year before he went to West Ham, and I just enjoyed this card so much because my brother Luke, he had the card and he said try him out, so I tried him out, and then I was like, wow, I've got to get my hands on him myself, and I made a French team. And FIFA 15, guys, it was absolutely amazing, guys. It was just, it was so sick. Now guys, just to break it up a bit, I thought I'd just share some of my favourite cards from, you know, last FIFA and this FIFA. Now the first one here is we've got, I believe the first or the second, I can't actually remember, it was one of the Player of the Month, Mohamed Salah's, and it was the striker card, and that was basically one of the years. Now guys, just to break up, you know, from all the older cards, I thought I'll just throw in some of my favourite cards from FIFA 18 and one of my favourite cards from this year's FIFA. Now we'll start off with one of Mohamed Salah's Player of the Month card. Now we all know that this striker card was absolutely phenomenal when it came out. Now I used it pretty much up until day dot, and to be fair, this card was absolutely insane. He was so overpowered, and he would just bury everything. I think he had a decent weak foot as well in game as well, and he was just awesome. And then his right wing was sick as well. I actually packed his ones to watch on the web app, on the companion app, and I actually sold it, and I really wish I didn't, because I think it would have been better as a right winger. But to be fair, guys, his finesse shot in FIFA 18 was absolutely incredible. Now, moving over to the other card that I had in FIFA 18, and that was Alvaro Morata's inform card. Now, it was actually the first player review I did in FIFA 18, and I pretty much spent my whole coins on Alvaro Morata, and I was just in love with the fact that Morata was at Chelsea, and I thought he was going to do a much better job at the Blues, and I'm a little bit disappointed that he is gone and he didn't play as well as what we'd hoped. But to be fair, this inform card was actually insane, and I loved chucking up headers to him. He was so OP in the air. I just pretended that I was basically being him in real life and giving him the service that he would want, and he would score so many good headers, and he'd score quite a decent amount of long shots and good shots inside the box, and he was just one of my favourite cards. And I used him for I think 4 or 5 months until I just decided to give up and move over to that Salah card. And to move on to the final card on this page is Joseph Martinez's Player of the Season or Player of the Finals. I'm not too sure what that card was, but it was the card that basically ripped open FIFA 19 due to the fact that because he was so pacey, it was quite early on, and you could get him from the weekly objectives for playing online single matches. Now, the people that missed out really missed out, because I actually still use him to this day, and I still use him in Foot Champs. He still bangs in a lot of goals. I actually start him right now because I've got a couple of icons in my team, and when I didn't have those icons, I just brought him off the bench, and he was just an absolute unreal super sub. So just an absolute jet to have in this year's FIFA. Now guys, staying with some of the FIFA 18 cards here, and as you can see that 2 of the 3 cards here are from the World Cup game mode, and to be fair, the World Cup game mode was so hyped up and it was unreal, especially for the first month. I know it died off pretty quick, but to be fair guys, everyone was opening packs on the World Cup game mode. Now everyone was able to pretty much get almost all icons and all beasts in that game mode, and everyone got to try out all these different players, and El Matador was one of the players that I got to try out really early on, and I loved him. He was so fast. He would bury just about everything near post. I don't know what it was about him. I'm not sure what he's like in this year's FIFA, but to be fair, if he's anything like he is now, I would definitely like to try him out sometime this year. Now, the other card that I used was Gary Lineker. Now, I actually didn't really know much of Gary Lineker at all until I used this card, and God almighty, it was a tough turn between Hernandez and Lineker, and in the end I actually used Lineker, Hernandez and Cristiano Ronaldo up top in that World Cup game mode, and oh my god, it was amazing. It was some of the best FIFA games that I've ever played with. I know it got boring pretty quick, but to be fair guys, using those icons in FIFA 18 World Cup game mode was just an unreal experience, because you know, you didn't really have to spend any money on the game to get these icons. Now, the last one on this page was the Festival of Football Olivier Giroud, I believe. Now, I had this card, I've got this one on my channel, it actually still gets views to this day, and I believe this card was the one for winning the World Cup. Now, this card was absolutely sick. It didn't feel like 75 pace. The 97 shot was absolutely unreal. He would bury everything on that left peg. He could pass, he could dribble. Look at those stats, guys. Like, if you haven't seen what he was like, go and have a look on my channel and have a look at some of the goals that I've scored with Giroud, and he was just an absolute menace towards the end of last year's FIFA. Now guys, we're throwing it back a bit here, and we're going back to FIFA 13. Now, these are probably going to be some of the most appealing cards that you'll ever look at. Now, if you played FIFA 13 like I did, it was one of the best ultimate teams that you could play. Now, we've got Michele, Di Natale and Kevin Prince Boateng, and if you didn't use this trio in your Serie A teams or any of your hybrids, you were seriously missing out. Now, Michele was just an absolute jet. He would just wiggle around players and just score goals willy-nilly from anywhere, like legit anywhere. Like, you could score them from like 35 yards out over the keeper's head, and the keeper wouldn't even dive, he'd just watch it. Di Natale was, I think he was actually quite small too, but he was just that 36-year-old beast in game that you would just want to use. He was just so, like, for some reason he was so strong on the ball for such a small striker. And then you've got Kevin Prince Boateng, completely a dominant force in the midfield, would win so many headers, players wouldn't get near him, he would just shrug you off. Just overall such a great time to play FIFA 13 was, and I just really wish that FIFA would bring a Generations game mode in eventually, because obviously we're lucky enough to have icons and to have like your Stevie G and your Paul Scholes and your Frank Lampard, Ronaldinho, etc. But you know, players like Mikeli and Di Natale aren't going to get icon cards, so I would just really love to see, you know, cards like this be introduced into FIFA, just like the fun players, because this was when FIFA was fun. And if you guys didn't use these players in FIFA 13, I strongly recommend you go back and buy FIFA 13 and using these players, and you will have a lifetime worth of fun. Now guys, staying with some of the throwback cards here, and the first one on this page is Stefan El Shaarawy silver card in FIFA 12. Now this card was an absolute gem. Now this card actually went for 100 to 200k, I do believe, and this was actually one of the videos that went absolutely viral online. I think a lot of people would probably remember this when this, I'm not sure if he was German or Dutch, and he packed him and he went nuts, and that's when pack openings went viral, and it was just so fun to use silvers in FIFA 12, and he had the 5-star skill moves, and it was just absolutely amazing to use El Shaarawy. And no matter what team you had, El Shaarawy was just insane. You hated coming up against any shot. Like 70 shot was really 90. And now moving over to the other FIFA, has a little bit of sentimental value to me due to two reasons. One, because this is the only time I've had Messi. A series on one of my old channels which isn't there anymore, and it was Road with Messi, and I had a bronze team around him, and every game that I would win, I wore the EA advantage. It was just awesome, and you didn't care about losing because the game wasn't as competitive was, and it just was such an awesome time. And the last one on this page is Robin van Persie, FIFA 19. I'm really hoping we see this one during the foot birthday promotion. Hopefully we use it. That left foot, like, to be fair, even though the pace wasn't that great, he was just, with a clear way to the goal, it was going in 9 times out of 10. I remember playing my brother, all absolute gem, and just Van Persie, what a player he was. Now guys, moving over to the last page here, and the more recent cards. So the first one here is Michy Batshuayi's man of the match, I believe it was. And God, Michy was a beast for Dortmund, and I really wish he did stay at Dortmund because he was killing. I don't know why Chelsea decided not to let him go to Dortmund again this season, considering he went out on loan. But to be fair guys, he got 2 informs and then he got the team of the season, but I wasn't able to get the team of the season. But the man of the match was absolutely insane just in general, and to be fair, this card just banged in so many goals for me. It was so enjoyable, and because it was, you know, towards the end of the FIFA cycle, towards, you know, it was towards, you know, team of the season, and no one really gave a shit anymore. And that's when FIFA got a lot more fun because, you know, cards weren't expensive, and Batshuayi is obviously one of my favourite players in real life right now because of his, you know, because he's a Chelsea player and he's just such a funny guy, and I just had to get my hands on him. And then, yeah, he was just an absolute beast to watch card. Now, this was the first year that Wants to Watch came into FIFA, and I remember in January, go for Paul Pogba, and I just kept trying, and I believe I tried 7 or 8 times, and believe it or not, 2 packs after I got Aguero, and then those were my 2 strikers for such a long Wants to Watch. It was just such a sick card, guys. And the last one that I've got so much, I legit sold half my team to get this card, and I couldn't pass it. I couldn't pass it down due to the fact. And look at those stats, guys. 80 pace, 96 shot, 93 pass, 88 dribbling, 78 defending, and 9. I think Ashley Cole had a special card in that game, in that FIFA as well. I think he had the foot birthday card and card. FIFA was just so fun, you know, towards the end of every FIFA. And, you know, to be fair, I think that is all the cards that I've brought to you guys. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. I've really enjoyed P players that everyone was expecting, but these were the cards that I did have my hands on. But anyway guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, please do subscribe, and good luck with your pack openings on Foot Birthday. Peace out.